welcome to the Old Geezer's Diary. I'm Chris, and I'm here to ask you a little question today. Today being Wednesday, the 3rd of November, 2021. The question I want to ask you about, well, I'll come to that in a minute, but it's just one of those things that's rung my bells. As I think I said to you originally when starting to do the Old Geezer's Diary, I'm going to talk about things that ring me bells and just strike me as being amazing and sometimes ridiculous. You'll have to excuse my little nose bit here because it's a little bit of a skin problem I've got, but there you go. It's one of those things that happens when you get old. But when you get old, well, you get old and stuff starts to go wrong, so don't worry about it. Okay, so the question for today. Are you ready for this? What do you think? Are MPs really greedy crooks? Now, I've got to tell you this. I think they probably are. I think huge numbers of members of Parliament go into the House of Commons with the finest motives, the best motives you can have. They're going in there to work for their communities. They're going in to help people. They're going in to do stuff that they really want to do to kind of make the world a better place. And then what happens is that they kind of get a bit seduced by the glamour of it all, by the power and importance of it all. And then people probably start to kind of offer them money to do things, and they get taken into that one. And before you know it, they're away. Now, MPs, got to say this, and a jolly good screwed. The most MPs, or all MPs, run about 82 or 83,000 quid a year gross income. And that's, excuse me, not counting a lot of benefits that they get. They get things like accommodation paid for and stuff like that. They get all their office expenses paid for and stuff like that. They get all kinds of, you've got to say it, major benefits really from being an MP. So the 82 grand after tax, they take home a good amount of money every month and don't really have any big financial problems like us ordinary people might have from time to time. But then we get a piece that we've seen. I'll just show you this if I can on this particular screen. Yeah, there you go. I don't know whether you can see that at all, really. Yeah, you can. Okay, and this is about an MP called Owen Paterson. And Owen Paterson is on that 82 grand a year, but he was paid nearly 3 times his salary to lobby government departments on behalf of companies. And that means if he was doing that, what was happening to his electorate's interests? Because he was busy running another little number, earning a lot of money, a couple of 100,000 quid a year on top of his salary for doing a side swindle. I don't mind people doing side swindles, it doesn't worry me, but when it's an MP who's earning 80,000 a year for doing his proper job, he then skids off and does a load of other stuff on the side to make loads of extra money. I can't believe it. I find it very hard to cope with the idea of someone who is working for us, for you and me, and the electorate and the ordinary people in his electorate, who on average, let's get this one straight, the average wage in the UK is around £30,000 a year. This guy is earning nearly 3 times that, and then he has to go and earn 3 times more as a lobbyist, approaching government departments on behalf of these companies that employed him. I think he is a bloody crook. I don't think there's any other way of describing this. And I think that if MPs do their job properly, then they're going to be working full day's work, looking after the interests of their electorate, of the people who voted for them, the people who actually helped to pay their massive salaries. You've got to be honest and say that this kind of thing, there you go, this kind of thing kind of gets on my charms, and I think it gets on lots of other people's charms. There's a quote from Brian, All Boys Network, who allows themselves a vote for giving themselves a pay rise. Yeah, exactly right. And so many of us now, I think, let's just take a look as well. Yes, they are crooks. Yes, they are crooks, aren't they? I think the honest truth is that people They're ordinary people. They're not wonderful. They're not hugely intelligent. They're a bit smarter than us because they earn more. But the reality is that most MPs, I think, try their best to do a good job. But I think there's a lot of MPs who do all kinds of things on the side, as it were, that we don't know about, that we never find out about, that makes them a lot of other money. And I think a guy like this Owen Paterson, I just think he's a crook. I don't have any other description for the guy. I think he's a crook, and I think he's stitching up his electorate, his constituents who voted for him. Can't believe it, can you? If you were earning 80,000 a year, wouldn't you think that would be the wage for a full-time job, or would you go out and try and find yourself something for 3 times more? Let's just see what someone here says. So there we go. My friend Alan Abbott says, my experience of MPs is that they see themselves above the rest of us. I think that's quite true. And I think MPs and a lot of local politicians, maybe at county, district, and even at town level, sometimes see themselves as being above the average person, above the person who voted them into office. So let's get this one down the line and say what's happening with Owen Paterson today. He is going to face a vote on whether to cast him out adrift for a month, as if that's much of a penalty, or whether to let him get away with it, get away with being a crook. And I have to say that the one thing about this government that gets to me with Mr. Johnson and his chums is that they like the idea of getting away with being crooks. So to be honest with you, I predict that Johnson will vote for him to not have to get suspended for 3 days. I think 30 days. I suspect that Mr. Johnson and his pals will give him a license to carry on earning another couple of 100,000 a year on top of his salary and doing down his constituents. Why do we do this? Why do we put up with it? That's a damn good question, isn't it? My name's Chris. This is the old geezer's diary. And I have to tell you that this kind of thing gets on my chimes. Alan says it's more and more like the US. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is getting that way. So it's all about the money. And as far as MPs are concerned, when you look at Mr. Paterson, on his net total, let's say he was earning 80,000 a year, he was getting 3 times more as being a lobbyist. So in fact, he was going to get around £300,000 a year because he was elected into a position of power and influence. What do you think? I think it's disgusting. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Chris. This is the Old Geezer's Diary, and this is something that's getting on my nerves. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Don't overdo things, and don't get yourself be done down by another damn politician.